Growing up, I always enjoyed watching people make things. There was one show in particular that really changed how I saw the world at the time. Everything that I laid my 12-year-old eyes on had fish tank potential. It was my dream to one day get the chance to do what they do. 7 years later, I've decided, why can't today be that day? Okay, so the first order of business is to open this puppy up. I've never opened one up. I've never seen what's inside, so we're about to experience that together. Do not open. I guess now would be a good time to put out that disclaimer.
Don't try this at home.
So this is a 1979 black and white TV that I picked up for 40 bucks off of eBay. Even though it was listed as 4 parts, it can still hold a charge for years, and if the glass is broken, it can get everywhere. Whoa! So I've got to be careful, take it out to the garage. Hopefully we don't die. If possible, I'd love to keep my heart beating. Good news is, all I've got to do to discharge this, connect it to the grounding, push a screwdriver under this rubber flap, that closes the loop, and discharges the TV. Okay, we're good. So now, I've got to gut out all the electronics, because last time I checked, electricity and water don't get along well. Why is it not coming? Oh! Boom! I apologize for the terrible camera angle, but I think you get the idea. It's not even see-through. Oh, it's like a film. Sadly, I'll have to scrap the glass screen because it was a black and white TV, and a tint was used to make the screen have more contrast, which is great for viewing, but unfortunate if you're trying to make a fish tank inside of it. So I'm gonna get this all cleaned up, and I will see y'all inside. But we'll find another way. Back inside, I began cleaning out all the wires and junk from the casing. Really knocking anything off that's not supposed to be here anymore. Now I'm making a little model to get a general idea for what I'll have to cut out. We're gonna clean up the inside, cut off some of those pieces, make space for the fish tank. My goal with these cuts is to make as much of a shell as possible without cutting through the exterior. So anything used to mount the electronics has gotta go. And then I'm making a cut in the top to fit the tank and have an opening where I'll eventually feed the fish from. My hands will smell like burnt plastic for a little while, but that's fine. Probably should have wore gloves, but you know. So I'll set this to dry and head out on a much needed supply run. Black and white spray paint for the TV casing, epoxy putty to fix the damage on the exterior of the casing, and the acrylic, which I'll cut down to form the actual tank. I've got to get this putty on so it'll have a chance to dry overnight. And be glad you can't smell through your screen right now, because this stuff reeks. Good news is it fades pretty quickly and it'll do the job. By now the putty should be fully cured, so we can do sanding. Let's get started. I've sanded wood, but never plastic. It's getting there. And this step took a lot longer than I expected, but there's really no other option to get the putty flush and ready for painting. The little light I had left in the day, I wanted to get the acrylic cut to assemble the tank tonight. I got this table saw yesterday for only 45 bucks off Facebook Marketplace, and it's cutting great. It also came with a stand that was apparently a part of an old sewing machine. So that's interesting, I guess. But after cleaning up, I realized assembling the tank tonight would be off the table. I sure got what I paid for. All the cuts have to be square, and this wobbly rip fence is absolutely useless for that purpose. So I'm using this instead. This guide is meant for ripping sheet materials with a handheld circle saw, but it'll work just fine for this use case. The only catch is, each time I reposition it, I have to make sure that it's attached to the table evenly. Or else I'm just in the same boat I was earlier. And mine did work pretty decent. It didn't budge like the other one did, so it's good. We can now assemble the tank because all the pieces should be cut straight, not curvy and crap. But first, I'm spraying on a good coat of paint to the interior to give it a better chance of drying completely by tomorrow. And now that it's on, it's time to assemble the tank. Got all the panels here, got the acrylic cement right here, and safety tape square. The reason acrylic tanks are even a thing is because of acrylic cement. This stuff is a solvent. It acts more like welding than cementing. So it melts down each side of the acrylic and in about a minute rehardens, making the pieces in contact one solid piece. Once that's done, I get a little reward. I love peeling this crap. But the best reward of this process is now I've got a tank. Adding silicone to acrylic tanks isn't always necessary because it is one solid piece after the cement evaporates. But this being my first tank, I'm waterproofing it as well as I can. I'm just going around adding a bead down every angle, making sure it's nice and even, so by tomorrow, it'll be ready for water testing. Or so I thought. This is about the time that I start questioning my life's choices. Due to the TV being more curved than I measured, the tank doesn't quite fit. But that's nothing a table saw can't fix. I've got to remove the back of the tank, cut it flat, and reattach it. And I'm also adding in these base supports to raise the TV up a bit. Now they're good to go. Or so I thought. Still wasn't fitting quite right, so I went to town really flattening out the face. Didn't fit. So I started trimming the supports and a little of this corner. Still doesn't fit. So I trimmed more, sanded it smooth, and finally, the tank fit like a glove. I'm adding a bit more of that waterproofing to the back, cleaning up the dust, and really got in there with my toothbrush. Make sure I get every nook and cranny. Spray a coat on the face of the tank. Now I'm giving those knobs a good soak, really getting out any loose gunk or dust. Now, good to go. All this crap has had a lot of moving parts, so getting to just sit down and poke holes in this plastic board is really a good change of pace. Spent about 30 minutes just going to town, poking holes. Finished product is well worth it, if I do say so myself. The silicone should be mostly solidified, or at least solidified enough to add water to it, so fill it up, see what happens. Set the tank on some brown paper bags, so if it leaks overnight, I'll be able to tell pretty quickly. And if it leaks, I'll have to add more silicone and spend another 24 hours that I don't have waiting. So I really have to hope and pray that this works. And the next day, checking on it. Oh. Those prayers were answered. Not a drop spilled out of this tank.
Let's go.
So we're good to move on to spraying more paint. Really got those knobs good. Added some paint tape so it doesn't spill in too bad. Sprayed my first coat. Then second. And while that's drying, I'm good to head to. Now I know I said I like poking those holes, but this has to be the most enjoyable step of the whole process. With so many fish to choose from, the size of the tank is the only real bottleneck here. So we're going with a beta. This half moon in the bottom corner is going home with me. So we got him in the cart, got all the stuff, food, plants, and decorations to turn this tank into a home. First go in the rocks. Rinse out the debris real quick. And in goes the filter. While that's cleaning out the water, I can remove the paint tape. Start with this one. This step is also pretty satisfying. I can tell I did a decent job at application because I have to get on my belly with tweezers to remove all this stuff. Got it out. With all the tape off, it's time to really get this tank assembled. So I attach the knobs, get the LEDs ready, and put them in behind the tank. And then I get to putting all the stuff in the tank. In goes plant 1, the rock, plant 2, some shells, and finally, just gotta attach the front, and growing up, I always enjoyed watching people make things. It was my dream to one day get the chance to do what they did. And now, I did. So you got any sort of idea up in your head, bit of spare time, go make something.